Tonight, a new organization on campus to help prevent sex trafficking.
Plus, pro tennis at Troy. Stay tuned. TrojanVision Nightly News starts now.
Definition Digital Production Center on the Troy campus with news from Troy University locations around the world. This is Troy TrojanVision Nightly News.
Hello and welcome to Troy TrojanVision Nightly News for October 8th, 2012. I'm Judson Garner.
And I am Bailey Majors. Thank you for joining us this evening. Professional tennis makes a return to Troy as the city is playing host to the USTA Tennis Classic of Troy this week. And as Danielle Percival shows us, Monday was a special celebration.
Many people think professional tennis tournaments would be in a big city, right? That's not always the case.
Not only do we reach out to mid-level markets, but mid-level markets are looking for ways to promote the sport and to promote athletics in their communities.
Brian Early, director of the USTA Pro Circuit, visited Troy on Monday to honor the Tennis Classic of Troy with a plaque commemorating a decade on the USTA Pro Circuit.
I think it's important that we celebrate milestones, and every year we have 10 to 12% of our 90 tournaments come off the calendar, and if we can reward those tournaments who are consistent and who do raise the money and keep enthusiasm at a high level year after year after year, we hope that's one more thing that brings them back.
With this tournament held at a mid-level market, you might think the competition would be mid-level. However, Early says you can see the best in the world in these type of local tournaments.
What you see is every player under the age of 30 has played at this level, and if you go back and Sharapova played at this level, all of the really good players coming up now have played at this level. So there are so many good female players coming up year after year and after year.
Early says there are advantages for both the USTA and communities by having USTA tournaments in smaller markets.
If we take this tournament to Philadelphia, it will get lost in the shuffle. But in a place like Troy, the community will support it, and we'll support the tournament because we know that that it's a give and take.
Danielle Percival, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Danielle Percival will have more details about the tournament when she joins us later in sports.
Last week, the Student Government Association approved a new organization. Its mission is to prevent young teenagers from being sold into slavery overseas. Two students have started a non-profit organization that's goal is to prevent young orphans overseas from turning into sex slaves.
I felt like, how could I not do something?
Stella's Voice on Troy's campus was approved to be an official organization at the Student Government Association's meeting last week, and they're looking for more students to help their cause.
It's a really great organization. It's making a difference. It's not something where we'll get money and then you don't know where the money's going, but it's going towards these girls and boys in Moldova to really make a difference.
This campus organization will send their fundraising earnings to help provide homes for young orphans who are kicked out of their orphanages with little education and money at the age of 16.
And they are on the streets for monsters to get them and sell them.
Over 450,000 women have disappeared from this country that they don't know where they've gone.
Stella's Voice at Troy University held their first official on-campus meeting last Friday. They're asking more students to get involved. They say in this organization, every student can contribute something.
Even if it's donating $15 or it's coming once and then telling all their friends, or if they don't feel like it's something that pertains to them, I think they should still come because every little bit counts.
Students who want to get involved can contact Stella's Voice at Troy's President Summer Wells at 334-798-9688.
The ladies of Delta Sigma Theta sorority were outside of the Trojan Center today kicking off their Delta Week with Delta Fun Day. Troy students were able to mingle with the members of the organization while enjoying free food and music. All this week, the sorority will be promoting awareness about different service programs and organizations that they are associated with.
This week we're doing a lot of events that are centered on breast cancer awareness, but however tonight it's Monday in the Trojan Center ballrooms. We have an event that's named My Cry in the Dark, and it's centered on mental health awareness to kind of let the students know it's okay to get help.
Once again, Delta Week continues with a mental health awareness forum tonight at 7 p.m. in the Trojan Center ballrooms.
Today is the beginning of National Alcohol Awareness Week, and one Troy organization wanted to help raise awareness to students. Greeks advocating the mature management of alcohol, or GAMA, was on the quad today encouraging students to play the drinking game beer pong, but instead of using beer, they used water along with special drunk goggles. The goggles are designed to show those who wear them the dangers of drinking too much, something GAMA members say is important for students to know.
Students get pressured into things, they do it, their friends tell them everything's going to be fine, everything's okay, but the honest truth is you really cannot trust your friends if they're going to be making the same decisions you are. So you really just have to be mature and watch what you're doing.
A drunk driving simulator Thursday on Tailgate Terrace from 3 to 7 p.m.
And now taking a look at news from around the state. In Tuscaloosa, the city is considering a temporary ban on some of its businesses as it rebuilds from last year's tornado. Tomorrow, the city council will continue a discussion of a proposed moratorium that could affect businesses including pawn shops, checking cash stores, tattoo shops, and tobacco stores.
And in Talladega, attendance was way down for Sunday's NASCAR race at the Talladega Superspeedway. Track officials estimate that 88,000 people were on hand for the Good Sam Roadside Assistance 500. That's the smallest crowd for a Sprint Cup race at Talladega since figures have been provided.
And in Mobile, witnesses say a University of South Alabama student was screaming obscenities and talking about being on a spiritual quest shortly before campus police fatally shot him. Two students who knew 18-year-old Gil Collar described him as appearing intoxicated shortly before his death early Saturday.
And still to come on TrojanVision Nightly News, the Trojan soccer team hoped to end its 6-game losing streak to defeat the other Trojans of the Sun Belt. Danielle Percival will have the details on that and more when she joins us with sports.
But first, former Penn State assistant football coach Jerry Sandusky faces sentencing tomorrow. We'll have that story and more after the break.
Yeah, but did you see how much he had to drink last night? I can't believe that guy made it home. Nobody drives drunk anymore. Hold on, I got another call coming in.
While drunk driving rates have dropped greatly, negligent driving and speeding fatalities have skyrocketed. Someone dies every 13 minutes from negligent driving, so keep your hands on the wheel, your eyes on the road, and your phone put away.
The path of my life, the way it took me, there was detours and things that had to be done, but I never lost the passion. I decided to continue my education and decided to do it here at Troy. But I've had a great support system with my teachers and my advisors, and I'll be forever grateful to them for that.
On campus or online, Troy offers you an extraordinary education and a culture of caring. Troy University, it's all you need to know.
My name is Deborah, and I choose Troy every day.
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning TrojanVision Nightly News.
And now for a look at what's happening across the nation and around the world, we'll go to Judson Garner at the Global News Desk. Judson.
Former Penn State assistant football coach Jerry Sandusky faces sentencing tomorrow. His lawyer says Sandusky will speak in court and proclaim his innocence. Randall Pinkston has more from Bellefonte, Pennsylvania.
Jerry Sandusky is scheduled to be sentenced on 45 counts of child sex abuse. The 68-year-old former assistant football coach at Penn State faces a maximum of 442 years in prison. He's expected to spend the rest of his life behind bars. Sandusky has been in isolation in a county lockup since his conviction in June. He has been receiving visits from his wife Dottie and several former players. His attorney, Joe Amendola, says Sandusky spends his days exercising, reading, and preparing the statement for his sentencing. Amendola says Sandusky will again insist on his innocence and will not ask for mercy. After sentencing, Sandusky will be sent to a state prison facility called Camp Hill, where he will undergo several weeks or perhaps months of psychological and medical evaluations. Then he will be transferred to what officials call his home prison. Several of Sandusky's victims are expected to make statements at his sentencing hearing, including the young man known as victim number 5.
My client knows what happened in that shower. back in 2001.
Attorney Thomas Klein says his client is not seeking a specific sentence. He just wants Sandusky to tell the truth.
It's unfortunate that a man who did these horrible deeds can't and won't come forward and say that he did them. That would be helpful.
Sandusky maintains he did not use his charity for at-risk kids to prey on boys and is planning to appeal his conviction. Randall Pinkston, CBS News, Bellefonte, Pennsylvania.
A new Gallup poll shows the presidential race tied. President Obama had a 5-point lead in that poll before the first debate. Mitt Romney worked to build on his momentum with a major foreign policy change today. Daniel Nottingham has more from the White House.
Mitt Romney told cadets at Virginia's Military Institute President Obama has failed to lead on the world stage.
America's security and the cause of freedom cannot afford 4 more years like the last 4 years.
Romney said the risk of conflict in the Middle East has grown under the Obama administration. He said a Romney administration would do more to help opposition fighters in Syria and would not hesitate to put new sanctions on Iran.
For the sake of peace, we must make clear to Iran through actions, not just words, that their nuclear pursuit will not be tolerated.
Polls show President Obama is still doing better than his challenger when it comes to national security and foreign policy. And the president's campaign is already pushing back hard against Romney's speech. This new ad mocks Romney's July overseas trip and his response to the deadly attack on the U.S. consulate in Benghazi, Libya.
If this is how he handles the world now, just think what Mitt Romney might do as president.
The president is raising more campaign cash in California today. At a star-studded fundraiser in Hollywood last night, he made his first public comments about his debate performance.
And everybody here is incredible professionals. They're such great friends, and they just perform flawlessly night after night. I can't always say the same.
The president and Mitt Romney will face foreign policy questions at their next debate in 8 days. Danielle Nottingham, CBS News, the White House.
The deadly outbreak of meningitis continues to expand with more than a dozen new cases, including another death in Tennessee. Drew Levinson reports from New York there still may be many people around the country who don't know that they've been infected.
The fungal meningitis outbreak linked to steroid injections is causing concerns for people like Kelly Gaines. She takes shots to ease pain from a back injury.
I'm just becoming abreast of the seriousness that can be related to this.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reports new cases every day. 105 people in 9 states are infected with the disease. 8 people have died. Most of the cases are in Tennessee, Michigan, and Virginia. Doctors expect the numbers to grow over the next few weeks.
That period of time from the exposure, the inoculation, to the onset of symptoms can be quite prolonged, up to a month and maybe even a little bit longer.
The meningitis patients received injections for back and neck pain. The New England Compounding Center made and distributed the steroid to clinics in 23 states. After recalling the tainted medication, the company, as a precaution, voluntarily expanded that recall to all of its products. Physicians are still contacting people who may have been exposed. Symptoms include headache, nausea, dizziness, and fever.
The importance of getting treated early, of course, is that it gives us a chance to attack the infection and treat it before it causes too much damage.
Doctors say this form of meningitis is not contagious and treatment is extensive. Drew Levinson, CBS News.
And that'll wrap things up from the Global News Desk. To see more stories from across the country and around the world, you can tune into Trojan Vision Global News right after the nightly news. Now back to you, Bailey.
Thank you, Judson. And now Danielle Percival joins us for a look at sports. So, Danielle, earlier in the show, we learned about the USTA Tennis Classic. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, Bailey, there are actually a couple of Trojan tennis players who have actually been competing in the tournament. We'll get into that a little bit later in sports. We mentioned that soccer was trying to end a streak. Well, volleyball was actually looking to extend one, so let's talk about them.
All right.
A day after seeing its 3-match winning streak snapped with a loss to Arkansas State, the Trojan volleyball team evened out their weekend against one of the top teams in the conference. Troy defeated Sunbelt co-leader UALR on the road Saturday 3-1 with scores of 25-20, 16-25, 25-18, and 25-14. The loss was the first in Sunbelt play for the West Division leading Trojans from UALR. Offensively, Troy was led by Blair Winston's 17 kills. Devin Von Pingle fell just short of a season high with 13 kills, while Brianna Cullity was also in double figures with 14. The win was the second in program history for Troy over UALR and the first ever in Little Rock. The 4-2 start in Sunbelt play is the best in Troy history. And the Trojans return to the floor next weekend as they return to Sartain Hall to continue Sunbelt play against North Texas on Friday and ULM on Saturday. And volleyball wasn't the only team to have success against the other Trojans of the Sun Belt, as the soccer team had a good outing on Senior Day. Troy celebrated Senior Day with a 4-0 win over UALR on Sunday afternoon at the Troy Soccer Complex. 3 different Troy Trojans scored, including 2 goals by Chelsea Williams, who now leads the team with 7 goals. Maddie Winter picked up her 6th win of the season, making 6 saves for her 2nd shutout of the year. The victory was Troy's first win in Sunbelt play, and Coach Chris Bentley says his team made the improvements necessary from Friday in order to get the victory.
Today was we did what we needed to win, and that was what it came down to. We worked hard for it, but I think we could do a lot better things in the attack. Didn't do great with that, and we were a little bit disorganized today, to be honest. So there's things we can work on this week, but I think this is a great confidence booster for us moving forward.
The Trojans are back in action on Friday when they travel to Middle Tennessee, and kickoff is set for 7 p.m. The USTA Tennis Classic of Troy began yesterday for the 10th consecutive year, and 2 Trojan tennis players competed in the first day of action. Hannah Toro, a sophomore from Great Britain, defeated her American opponent Brittany Lashway in a comeback victory. Caroline Grimmel, a senior from Germany, lost her opening round qualifying match to Wendy Kiwenzong of Canada. Another familiar name in the tennis world had a victory on Sunday. That's Sharapova. Not Maria, but her cousin Daria Sharapova. The USTA Tennis Classic will continue through the 14th. Last but not least, the Trojan football team got a little time off this weekend. Maybe it's a good thing. It was upset Saturday in the college football world with 3 top 5 teams losing in Week 6. All right, so the Trojans aren't a top 5 team or even top 25 right now, but neither are the Hilltoppers, Troy's next opponent. However, Western Kentucky is ahead of Troy in the Sun Belt standings because they're undefeated. Granted, they've only played 1 conference game so far. The Trojans are 2-1 in conference play, and those 2 victories are in the Trojans' last 2 games. But how are they going to come out on Thursday night after having time off?
Our teams might think we took off, but actually we was on the field preparing, doing little things, studying a lot of film. Western Kentucky is a really good team, and we're going to have to do everything we got to do to win this game. It's going to be huge for our team and university.
It's going to be a short week this week for the Trojans, with the game in just about 73 hours and change, not that I'm counting. The Trojans and Hilltoppers will meet on Larry Blakeney Field Thursday night at 6:30, with the game being televised on ESPNU. So Judson Bailey, it's going to be an interesting week because things are kind of thrown off. It's not our normal schedule. We didn't have a football game this past weekend, but we've got one coming up on Thursday night. It'll be interesting to see how that affects the student athletes and how that affects the schedule, but hey, I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely, and hopefully we can all come out on Thursday and support our Trojans. That's right, very important.
Yeah, definitely a change of pace.
Absolutely, but hey, that's always a good thing.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Coming up on Troy TrojanVision Nightly News, we'll learn about Troy University's yearbook, The Palladium.
But first, we woke up to cool temperatures this morning, but will things be warming up again soon? Brittany?
It is sure feeling like fall outside. Looks like this cool weather will be making for a great week. Stay tuned for your local weather right after the break.
Our national forests. We cherish their beauty. We marvel at their majesty. We embrace their heritage. But do you know how much we depend on our national forests? For clean air, wood for our homes, and drinking water for millions of Americans. So much depends on our national forests, but now they're depending on us. Trees have been devastated by insects, disease, and fires that burn so hot, even the seeds of future forests are destroyed. The Arbor Day Foundation asks for your help in replanting our national forests, because so much depends on what we do today. So much beauty, so much life, so much that we hold dear. We must act now so that future generations can also depend on our national forests. Visit arborday.org. See what we're doing. See how you can help.
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning Troy TrojanVision Nightly News.
And now Brittany Drawdy joins us for a look at weather.
So Brittany, over the weekend we kind of had a little bit of a change in the weather. We've seemed to have kind of fallen into the fall season.
Yes, it seems very cooler outside. Really nice, actually, to be a little adjustment to the warm heat that we've been seeing all summer. So we can actually look outside right now and take a look. It's very sunny, very beautiful, clear skies. Been nice, a little windy as we go across campus, but very nice nonetheless. Current conditions, skies are sunny, temperatures 73 degrees, dew point at 50, humidity at 44%, barometer at 30.05 and steady, and winds coming from the north around 8 miles per hour. Today's stats, high 73, looking at a low 54, no rain, sunrise 6:43 a.m., sunset at 6:19 p.m. A little bit of a fluctuating as we see Mobile is 77 and sunny, and Huntsville is 57 and overcast. Definitely a lot of change as we go from the north to the south, but Birmingham sitting at 63 and cloudy. Montgomery 70 and sunny, Troy 73 and sunny, nice for us here. Phoenix City 73, a little overcast as we see, and Dothan at 78. Definitely those 70s, 60s, 50s, cooler weather definitely settling in over the state as we can see right now. Current temperatures definitely towards the southeast. It's cooling off. Florida, not so much as we still are seeing 87 in Miami, 84 in Orlando. Current temperatures over the U.S., we can definitely, things are cooling down to the north. Definitely seeing that fall coming in as it comes down, is moving towards the southeast, towards us. As we can see, two higher pressure systems here, a little bit of stationary front and a low front passing through and going on towards Florida. We can see a little bit, that's probably the cooler weather that we experienced last night and on to this evening. Definitely going to be sticking around for a little bit, but it'll warm up just a little bit as we go into the rest of the week. Temperature change, we can definitely see not much for us, but as we see where that low front was, 25 degrees cooler for them than what they're used to around this time. No rain, hopefully, in the next 48 hours. We shouldn't be seeing too much, maybe a little bit in the North Alabama. Florida may be experiencing a 1/4 of an inch, but not too much as we go throughout the work week, so it'll be very nice for us here. Tuesday, we can see it's definitely clears out for the southeast, definitely going to be nice as we go through our week. Wednesday, same thing, clear towards the southeast, maybe a little bit to the north, but not too much for us here. Thursday, same thing. Remember, football game Thursday night, definitely going to be clear and beautiful, so go out and enjoy it. Friday, same thing, going to be clear, beautiful, and really as we go throughout the week, it's going to be very nice. Tonight's forecast, clear, light and variable winds as we go through this evening. It's definitely going to be a lot chillier than what we've been used to recently. Last night, same for tonight, low of 48. Winds coming from the north about 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow, same thing. We're going to see mostly sunny, very beautiful day, just as we are today. It'll definitely warm up a little bit more, but we're going to still have those light and variable winds coming from the north about 5 miles per hour. High of 76 tomorrow, which will be a nice, very sunny, beautiful day. 4-day forecast, same thing. We see sun across throughout the week. We can see Tuesday, bright and sunny, only seeing a high at 76, so it'll be a nice day. Only 51, a little bit cooler as we go into the evening. Wednesday, we're going to be warming back up into the 80s with a high of 81 and a low of 51 as we go into this evening. Thursday, high of 80, 54 for Thursday night, and Friday, we're going to be hitting 84, so it'll be nice as we warm up as we go towards the end of the week. So, Justin, we can see it's going to be beautiful. Even though it's a little chilly now, last night and this evening will be a little chilly, but as we go throughout the week in the football game, it's going to be perfect weather outside, so people should really go out and enjoy fall coming in.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's going to be warm up towards like the week as we go on, but it's not going to hit that 90-degree mark, and that's what we've been experiencing this whole fall so far. So that's
right.
Seems like we're going on the slope down to more cool weather, which is great.
Right. Fall is definitely greeting us, so it's really nice to see that now.
All right, thanks, Brittany.
Thanks.
Thank you.